is there no end to this guy's fallacies?
Humiliate, fantafight woman. Let's go.
Well, you know the drill.
Literally got knocked out in his base form by the Shadow. Bro, he literally got chained to a pole by Shadow. He got knocked out, bro. Yeah, for real. Tank hits from Shadow. Yeah, for real. He got knocked out, though. He got knocked out. Like, Metro Man, who's stronger than Shadow, like, good luck with Sonic tank hits from him.
Well, this is an easy debunk. Even if Sonic was 1% of the scale I gave for Shadow, that would still put him at 1 trillion tons of TNT, way more than the small city level scaling Metro Man has.
Yeah, no, sorry. Metro Man has the same durability as Movie Sonic by your logic. If not, he's just way more durable. The sun contains millions of billions, if not trillions, tons of TNT. So yeah, they're either the same durability level, or Metro Man is...
This in no way follows my logic. I have already debunked the multi-continental scales for Metro Man, and I understand the sun does technically generate multi-continental levels of energy per second, but it doesn't really scale to the laser. Sure, the laser stated to be the fully concentrated power, but it barely destroyed a hill. And you can't say that's lazy writing, because I could just argue Megamind saying it was the fully concentrated power of the sun was also lazy writing. Visual representation is way more useful than a statement from a guy who constantly exaggerates. Plus, if you wanted to argue that they have the same durability, I could just argue by your logic, Sonic is trillions of times faster, so it doesn't really matter if Metro Man's stronger, they're on the same durability, and therefore probably the same AP, considering how they're able to harm characters on the same level as them. And then I just argue Sonic Speed Blitzes and...
Yeah, no shit, and yeah, I know I worded that weird. That's because I was just waking up, so I wasn't really wording things correctly, but yeah, my point still matters.
If you did want to argue Metro Man, Sonic has universal statements.
Yeah, universal statements. For Super Sonic, bro, I was comparing base form only. Now you're being biased. What are you doing, man? Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, it seems that you've completely forgotten my point from the edit I made debunking your edit, in which I pointed out that base form hedgehogs have one-shot super forms.
Base form hedgehogs as in Shadow only, who is more powerful than Sonic in base form. Yeah, glazing Sonic's meat isn't gonna help you, buddy. Yeah, so like I said before, Shadow in the movie does not scale to Sonic, and Sonic does not scale to Shadow, because Shadow literally proved to be more powerful than base movie Sonic. But in their super forms, that's different. But we're not comparing the super forms, are we? Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention: Metro Man's AP scales relative to his durability, because the laser scales to Metro Man.
Okay, I'm getting some appeal to ignorance fallacy vibes here. If Shadow's more powerful than Sonic, he does scale to Sonic. But moving on from that, yes, they do scale to each other. It doesn't matter if Shadow is more powerful, Sonic is shown to keep relatively good pace with him in a fight, both speed-wise and physical-wise. Also, remember, during their first encounter, which is the only direct win Shadow gets, Sonic was holding back. So of course he lost as easily as he did, because he wasn't actually trying to hurt Shadow. He was just simply trying to detain him. Sure, he got knocked out when he tried to use the charge punch in the final clash of the battle, but once again, that was him holding back most likely, and he wasn't necessarily trying to kill someone while Shadow was not holding back whatsoever. He only gave Sonic one chance, and Sonic didn't take it, so of course he'd run to try and kill him if he's being sent by gun. And this is also not taken into account that when Bloodlusted and had an equal power boost to Shadow, you cannot mention that this is Superform Sonic, so I can't use it, because they have a directly equal power boost from the Chaos Emeralds. He was able to match him physically pretty well, and even was able to knock the Chaos Emeralds out of Shadow. You know, like Shadow did. Hell, Knuckles has knocked the Chaos Emeralds, or the Master Emerald, which is equal in power, out of superpowered beings. Even owls that Sonic was raised by are capable of doing this. I've also managed to find some planet level calculations for base form Sonic when he caused that gigantic quill explosion, but I am a bit skeptical by them considering how they don't have any kinetic energy, but they're still on the table if you want to use them.
Okay, not sure why your is necessary, but enjoy that way.
No, don't think about it. I'm gonna work on it right for Sonic DMC. Oh, I almost forgot.
Wow, that laser you shot me with was mildly inconvenient.
I'm not even gonna bring him back to life this time.
Well, good news, my friend. You don't need to. In fact, you didn't even bring me back to life in the first place. I don't really know what you're talking about.